Hi, Daniel from the Ultimate Guitar Academy here, and I'm going to teach you how to bend on the guitar. Bending is all about technique, and many people think that bending is using your fingers to push the strings. This actually couldn't be any further from the truth. Another common mistake is for people to bend using the index finger. This only works in a few situations, it actually should rarely be done. What we're going to do is bend a D note to an E note. This is 15 on the B string, bending up to 17 on the high E. Let's just play those two notes. The D note, up to 17, which is an E note. Now I'm going to hold that D note, which was fret 15, with my ring finger. We rarely ever bend with just one finger. What I'm going to do is hold that note but add my middle and index fingers behind it. They're going to be on frets 14 and 13. They don't have to be exactly in those frets. They could be further back or closer to the front. It doesn't really matter that much. But the point is we want to bend with at least 2 fingers, preferably 3 if we can. From there, we play the string, and you'll notice when I bend, it's not my fingers pushing up, my whole wrist, even up to my elbow, will move. I've seen a video of Joe Satriani, the guitar legend, talking about how he bends, and this is how he describes it. When we bend, we want to hold those 3 fingers and then push up like so. Try to make sure your bend isn't slow. A slow bend usually sounds like a dying cat. It's quite sickening. Also, try to make sure your bend isn't falling short. That sounds pretty awful too. A good bend will start on a proper note and end on a target note. For example, we're looking at D up to an E. So my starting note D should end on an E note. If I fall short, I will sound disgusting. Bends can also be 1 fret in pitch. So I could bend that D up to an E flat, which is only 1 fret forward. That would be okay as long as it sits in the key of the song we're playing. Another common mistake is your left hand thumb. I've seen guitarists bend with their thumb out the front, all the way out the back, all over the place. The best place is on the top of the guitar. What this will do is keep this little ridge here in contact with the neck. Now remember, this isn't the only way to bend, it's what I've found to be one of the best ways to learn to bend. So, thumb up high on the guitar, that ridge of between my thumb and my fingers, there's probably a name for it, is on the back of the neck of the guitar, hugging it like so, and my 3 fingers on the front of the guitar. This gives me a strong grip, almost like I'm grabbing the guitar to pick it up. Otherwise, if I'm holding the guitar like this, I'm not actually gripping the guitar. The guitar can easily fall out between my fingers. So once you've got the right position, hold your fingers down on the string nice and tight, and use your whole wrist, including supporting fingers, to drag that string up. If you find that you lose the note as you bend, you need to think of holding the string and grinding it against the frets. Imagine you're trying to scrape those frets. That will keep the contact of the string on the frets while you pull it up. If you're having trouble hitting the target note, it's a good idea just to play the note and then bend to the note. I find typically as humans that we fall short of target notes. We rarely go over them. You can even get a friend or family member listen to you play the bent and target notes, and they have to figure out which one is which. A common myth when bending is the direction that you bend changes the sound. This isn't entirely true. What will change is the way that you bend. For example, if I bend a note downward on the guitar, the way I bend it is different to the way I bend upwards. If I bend it identical, just in opposite directions, the sound should be identical. You can be creative with your bending. You don't have to start low and go up. You can bend down. You can bend up, then down. You can bend up, down, up. You can bend up, down, up, down. Whatever you play, make sure that it suits the song, and if you're reading some music, make sure it's the exact bending motion thereafter. There are also unison bends. That is when you play a note, for example E, and then a different note, for example D, and bend the lower one up to the higher one, so you result in both E notes, like so. The droning sound that you could hear is caused by beat waves that come from both notes when played together. There are also double stop bends. This is when you play 2 notes at the same time and bend either one or both of them. Here's an example. And another example. And now for index finger bends. These only really occur when what you're bending is at the back of your position on the guitar. For example, if I'm in E minor pentatonic and I'm bending this G note, 12 on the G, I'm not going to use my ring finger, most likely my index finger. Here's an example of why. If I play a lick and then want to bend that G note, moving my ring finger just isn't comfortable. Using my index makes more sense. We also will most likely bend downward and not upward. That's because it's just plain awkward and weak when bending upward. One last tip for bending is to try the rake. This is creating dead strings just before you play a non-dead string like so. Works really great when you're bending. You could also try throwing some vibrato in there. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope your bending has improved even just a little. If you have any questions or comments, please head over to ultimateguitaracademy.com.au where you can reach us through the contact page. Until next time, keep shredding.